I feel like we need a lift on that one next time.
If we put a lift on that, then the camera's going to get right in front of our phone.
True. It's always a struggle.
Hey, we're live. Hey, folks. Oh, Jamie, my hands are slippery, and I ended up slipping right off my side of my cap. I've never done that ever,
Oh,
ever.
you slipped the
I
hat
did.
tip?
Hey, folks, I literally slipped. I messed up the hat tip. Can we just start this whole thing over?
Let's do it.
There we go. Hey, folks, Lester and Jamie here. Happy Sunday to you all. We are just back from Longhorn Lester's, and Jamie's going to talk about all the neat things going on because I'm afraid if I start going, it's just never going to stop. I can just ramble on and on and on about it because all week long, people have been there doing things. I wasn't going to do that, was I? Listen, I just going to go ahead and just get it off my chest. I am Yancey. I am just biting at the bit. If y'all know that expression. Do you know that expression?
Chomping at the bit?
Chomping at the bit, biting at the bit. I think it's probably the same thing. So no, I am chomping at the bit to get this whole thing started and get it going. And this week, a lot of folks have been around doing the different things that Jamie and I can't do. And I'm going to let you start. I'm going to let you start. I told myself earlier, I'm letting you start this time. I'll jump in though. I promise you I will. So go. Just whenever you're ready, just go and I'll jump in.
You sure?
I'm playing. Yeah, I'm sure.
No, I know you love to talk about it. I know it's like, it's exciting for both of us. I totally get that. But I know that it's like all you've ever wanted and it's all coming to fruition. And I love that. I love to watch it. I love to watch it unfold. And well, okay. The pond is going to be amazing. Like better than I had ever dreamed about. We had a vision and the pond guys came out and they've enhanced our vision. And then even while we were doing it, I think it's evolved even more so as we've learned more about the soil type, the way that the water flows, and then we're watching them use laser leveling and measurements to understand where things will stay and how it will how we need to build a dam, or they need to build a dam structure around it. So the learning process at Longhorn Lester's in all that's happening is even greater than we anticipated as well.
People are saying that Lester can hardly hold back. Lester is chomping at the bit.
I was pinching his leg under the table.
No, because Jamie and I, when we first began to kind of envision the pond, let's just talk about the pond only for now, because that's like the big news of the week.
It is.
When we first began talking about the pond, we were kind of envisioning something like a dry creek, like you see when you go to Daniel Arms's place, the low creek.
A low bridge.
Like a little low bridge crossing. I can never get that right.
I know.
A low bridge crossing. But talking to the pond guys, that wouldn't work for what we wanted to do because we want to have an actual pond, whereas they have a creek. And I'm thinking, oh, duh, all of our water would run right off and we would have no pond. I thought that's really neat though when in some videos where he drives across that low, whatever you call it. And so they talk to us about what we have to do with all the elevation and how everything flows and with all of their laser whatnot. And they're going to build us a dam. They're going to build us a dam at 16 foot to keep 16 foot of water in that pond from where it starts on one end to the other side. It's going to drop down to be about 3 feet below the trees nearby. And this is so clever. The guys planned this so I could mow around my trees and not have to ever. They made sure that the little incline right there, or how it kind of goes down, was smooth enough where I could get my mower and go around the pond. And how important is that?
It's a big deal.
Because think about how many ponds that you see people dig, but right on the edge of the pond, there's no way to get over there close to them to mow because you'd fall off into the pond. And so you can only mow to a certain point, and then it all grows up with things around it. And you either have to weed eat it, which would take forever for a large pond, or just let it grow up. And they planned this knowing that we want to keep it cleaned up and mowed around it. And so it's just really, really neat. So I can go around my trees and go around my pond with the mower.
And it's going to serve a purpose. So a lot of people might not know this, but but we're on a very steep bluff there, steep incline. And when you have rain that hits those things, water comes rushing down, and it all comes down to the driveway there. And if it all comes rushing to one point from all of that acreage, it's going to cause erosion and massive problems, not just for us, but for anybody else that's downstream from there.
Yeah, so obviously the culvert that Mr. Dub put in is obviously you have to have that culvert where that water can flow under. But like Jamie said, all of that water from that entire hill, all bottlenecks right there at that one culvert. And so they had to find a way to make it to where that water couldn't bottleneck, create all that erosion. And the way they're going to do that is to take all that water and fill our pond.
And then it will slowly overflow.
It's like a spillway over the dam. And then that spillway will go smoothly under into the culvert under the driveway, slowly and smoothly. It's not going to be a drop off. It's going to be a over the spillway and right into the culvert. So that same spillway is going to be our
service drive.
Our service drive. And so folks who come up who need to drop off something or a delivery or anything like that, a cement truck or any future large vehicles will have to use that service drive. So it's already in really good shape. Mr. Dub and Miss Sharon already had that drive, and it has a lot of rock on it. But we're going to take out, or they've taken out the culverts, and they're putting in that dam, which is going to be concrete, and then of course crushed concrete. It's going to be beautiful. I can already envision how nice it's going to be. And like you said, we had a vision at first, but Paul and of course now Chuck, who's on the ground, have kind of talked to us a few times about how our vision is nice, but it's not really conducive to the terrain and what we want to eventually do in trying to slow down all that water and stop that erosion. So they were out all day yesterday, and they did just some really neat stuff. It's going to rain tomorrow, and so they won't come back until the rain clears. We're hoping that the rain that we get tomorrow will not be enough to do any, pulling all that dirt back to the pond again, obviously. And hopefully it won't be enough to where they have to delay work for a week.
It's supposed to be only like 1/10 of an inch. So I'm hopeful that it's just a sprinkle and we move on.
Yeah. But that is the biggest news around the farm this week. Jamie and I went up. Jake went with us yesterday. We took our friend Deontay, who's done a few jobs from around the farm here. And we went up and did a lot of work yesterday. We did our very first mowing, where I got to actually mow the grass myself. And I took the lawnmower up. We mowed that grass. And there's something special. I mean, I don't speak for everybody, because I know that some men and some women don't like to mow. You don't like to get up there and that kind of stuff. Jamie's one of them. But I love to mow. My brother, me and Dan both, we love to mow. And so getting my mower over there yesterday and mowing that grass for the first time around the house and around the flower beds and the garden area and the trees was just really neat. It gave me a chance, and this was the first chance. Whenever you're on that mower and you're driving around and you're kind of seeing things and you're thinking, my mind is always thinking about, I could do this here and do that there. And I really haven't had a chance to do a lot of that. There's been things that happen so fast, you don't really get a lay of the land until you get on that mower and can drive it around a little bit. And as of right now, when we left there an hour ago, it is gorgeous. I mean, the grass is all turning green. The trees are green again. And it's just beautiful. We're so very blessed. And have you ever thought about this for a minute? Now, we did not show you guys every single property we looked at. But when we started our property search back last year, and we would make little snippets of places that we wanted to look at, and we would sometimes, take your advice on certain things. And sometimes there was a couple that we actually had moved to that next that next step that didn't work out, because sometimes things don't work out with the inspection or with the price. Or sometimes Stephanie, who worked with us as our real estate person, that's my buddy's wife over here in the family, she would sometimes tell us, hey, they're asking too much. And she would tell us certain things that are going on in the area and why they're probably trying to leave. And Jamie and I, things that we had no idea about.
Things you can't really know unless you were really deep into the, real estate research, basically.
And then how many times did we feel kind of like let down, like, oh man, oh man. And we had so many letdowns. And then driving home today, Jamie brought up a really good point. And she goes, could you imagine if we had bought the place that they were calling Winter's Ranch? Or if we'd bought the place there in Shepherd, the ones that we were really serious and gung-ho about moving forward with. And I'm like, Jamie, it wouldn't have been anything like what we're able to experience now, because both of those places already had a lot of things established with ponds and barns and fencing. And here we are now Mr. Dub and Miss Sharon have done a lot as far as, the clearing of that one side of the pasture and building up the driveways. But there's a lot that we have our fingerprints on. And so even though we are buying a new property, we've already put our fingerprint, our stamp on things.
I think that's what you and I, that's who we are, obviously. But the more of our heart and soul, blood, sweat, tears, all of that we can put into something.
And money.
Well, there's that.
Because that pond is not coming out cheap.
No.
And as much as I love Paul, now everyone knows that Paul is the guy who's done all 3 of our ponds here. And he's done an amazing job on every single one of them. And then, of course, Chuck is the ground guy. So Paul can come out and he can tell you what you need and what it's going to cost. And he sets everything up. Chuck comes out and actually gets in the tractor, the big tractor, and he does all the big work. They have a crew, but sometimes things come up along the way. They discover this. So what they discovered over here at Longhorn Lester's is that the clay bottom where they thought they were going to dig was not quite thick enough. They had to go deeper. And Jamie and I, yeah, go deeper. Well, hold on a minute. Going deeper means more fuel. Yeah. It means more manpower or more man hours. The tractors were already there. And so we have to constantly budget and try to negotiate things and talk about things.
But things come up. We know that things come up, and we're blessed to be able to do those things. And I'll just keep working until I die. It'll be fine.
I'll keep driving a bus until I die too, Jamie. You're not the only one that really works around here.
I know.
But Jamie had to remind me of something. Like I said, I'm really antsy. I'm just ready to go and get this going. And I want to get them cows over there. And I want to, there's so much that I just can't seem to wait. And today she had to remind me. She goes, don't forget that it took 4 years to build what we have over here now. It took 4 years. And that's really 5 years if you count all that we had done before we became the nonprofit and the sanctuary. And so what you see around here in our videos now, as beautiful as I'm a Survivor is, it was a 5 years in the process. And so I can't expect to come in here and try to build Longhorn Lester's
and have it all done by summer
and have it all
or anything
done.
Like that. Don't they say like Rome wasn't built in a day?
Rome was not built in a day.
Well, Longhorn Lester's wasn't built in a quarter, Lester.
Oh, I wanted it to be though. And but no, it's coming together, y'all. And so in saying so, I'm making a prediction. And this terrifies me. This terrifies me. And I really am looking forward to seeing what you guys think about this. So if you're on YouTube or Facebook, hear this question. And really, I would love to hear your input. Jamie and I do not think it would be wise to move Tex first. We do not think, knowing our bull and what he's capable of, we do not think it would be wise to move Tex by himself first. We also don't think we should move Tex and the ladies at the same time, because I don't know how to say this in a nice way, but Tex is not going to be happy on the day that we move him. He's going to feel humiliated. He's going to be angry that he was forced into a tractor or a trailer.
And confused. He's
going to be confused when he's driven somewhere. He's going to be unloaded into a beautiful pasture. And I know you're all excited to see that release. That's going to be a big video. But Tex is not going to be, we know this bull, and he's not going to be his normal self that day. And I'm afraid if we move him and the girls together, he's going to be mean, and he's not going to be mean to us. He's going to try. He's going to end up being mean to the girls.
Yeah.
And so, as brutal as Mother Nature can be, we already know that that's a possibility. So I told Jamie that I think we should move the ladies first, Santiana, Pearl, and Gracie. But go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But then we come to our second dilemma with moving the ladies. Santiana is very pregnant.
Yeah.
Now, her bag is full, her nipples are starting to harden. So I am feeling like she'll have that baby in the next couple of weeks.
Ish.
I ish. Yeah, I mean, you can't say for sure because we did not jot down on a calendar the day it actually took, with her in text, but we know the
A
gestation
roundabout.
period
Yeah.
in a roundabout, and we also know the signs. And so we know that Santiana is close to having that baby. If she has the baby here and I'm a survivor, I don't think we can move a mom and baby for the at least a couple of months till that baby's
I
up
think
and
a month is probably okay.
at least a month.
Give her body time to heal a little bit. Yeah.
So about a month, and is that baby going to be able to ride in that trailer for?
We put the baby in the back seat.
I guess we could put the baby in the back seat. That I hadn't thought about that. That could happen. But getting the girls over, I think, is going to be what we should do first. And so don't be surprised if our first video of making that move is going to be Santana, Pearl, and Gracie. And if we can do it before she has that baby, I think that'd be better. That would, I think. Now, you don't research stuff like this. You don't go onto the internet and Google, do I move a cow? That's just people's opinions, y'all. And
So there's twofold. So I see a lot of questions about people saying, what's the rush? What's the rush? Well, in Texas, it gets really miserably hot, step one. So moving a cow in the stress and heat of the summer is not a good idea anyway. And we would like this to happen before that happens, obviously. But second, because that gives them the space and the nutrition from the land that is not probably solely here in enough. So like we have to supplement quite a bit in the bigs world in the wintertime. And in the summertime, you hope to not have to supplement because what they eat off the land is actually the most nutritious for them. It's best for their digestion. It's best for them. So there's not enough here of that for the bigs, in addition to how Tex has to be kept in and can't truly be a happy bowl because of what's going on next door. And we would just like to de-stress that situation altogether. Did I say that all right?
You did. I am just so upset with the people that say I look tired and I look like I'm stressed and I need to rest and stop talking and planning because they don't know me at all. That's a shame that you don't know me after all of these years. You don't know me at all. I don't rest. Even if if there was no Longhorn Lesters, I would be doing something else where I'm always jacked up and I'm just going and going and going about something. So stop all of that.
Is what keeps us both sane.
Yeah, that's true. And so you all should know that about me by now. I have to stay busy. I have to for my health, my mental health. So there is not a rush, but we did not want to do it in the middle of the summer. You don't know what the humidity and the heat is like. And moving a cow, seriously, if you was to put a cow in a trailer where it's like putting them inside of an oven.
Yeah, it's not
and
good.
So you don't want to do that. And then I don't want to wait till the fall.
No.
I don't want to wait till the fall.
Well, hold on. I want to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
About moving the girls first. So I gotta relate this to human things because it just resonates with me. You know that this is my opinion, and for any man that's watching that doesn't agree, I think that a woman makes a house a home. So bringing the girls over first to Longhorn Lester's allows them to add the piece and to find and figure things out so that when Tex does come, that even though he wants to be machismo and all stressed out and everything that's going to happen, the girls are there and they're calm already. So they will bring peace and calm to him because for them it's already familiar. They're already at peace because they have each other and they've explored. They know there's things to eat. That he's that type of thing. So I think that happens in the human world too. I think that a woman can handle a whole lot of stress and a whole lot of new and change, and then bring the man in. That's my thoughts.
So I look forward to reading because I see a lot of folks are commenting and sharing your opinions, and I'm excited about that. That's great. But I do predict, and this is only a simple prediction, but I do predict that by Easter break, which is coming up in 2 weeks. Am I right? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I predict that the tractors will be out of that pasture. Once the tractors are out, I can finish the fencing. You can't really finish the fencing while the tractors are driving around and things are being brought in and out. I believe I can finish that fencing in a couple of days. And I believe that it would be time to move. And that means that we could have the girls there by over the Easter weekend. And then once the girls get there, it's just a matter of having or finding someone who can come out. And moving Tex is not going to be easy. That's going to be a chore.
The girls will do okay in the trailer, and we'll be able to move the girls.
Oh
by
yeah,
ourselves.
we can move the girls ourselves. We've loaded all of the girls on our own. And that's not going to be hard at all. I say not hard. Pearl was the last one that you all saw being loaded for her band camp trip.
Gracie will probably give us the most help, to be honest.
Pearl can be a little bit horsey, but I know I can load the ladies and move them.
Yeah.
Tex is going to require a professional, and I say professional. I don't. You never know who you're hiring these days. Anyone can put an ad on Marketplace or Craigslist as a professional. Oh, we're licensed, we're insured. But there is no way that no amount of money is going to replace Tex. If a bunch of weekend cowboys come over here with their horses and their ropes and they start whipping them around, and I know we joked about Rip from Yellowstone, but this is really to the point where there's no more joking here.
No, it's very serious.
This is where I get nervous because I don't want to get Tex hurt. I don't want to get him so worked up. I want it to go smooth and easy. And that is in fact where my stress lies. I'm not stressed about the pond getting finished or getting the tractors out of there, or the ground that they messed up in moving and doing the tractor work is going to leave any rust. I don't care. That doesn't stress me. What stresses me is how we're going to load Tex, how much stress it's going to put onto him, how confused he's going to be when a bunch of strangers here show up with horses, because they will use horses. And then I had this idea. I was telling this to Jake recently. You know that Tex is terrified of Bucky's. You do know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to be mean when I say this, but Bucky's is blind in one eye. So Bucky's, his one eye is kind of glassed over. Can I just say glassed over?
Yeah.
It's more like fogged over.
Yeah, he has a foggy
He
eye.
has one foggy eye. So can you picture? So, all right. So just for a moment, okay, just for a moment, picture a horse at that. And cows, what's wrong? Cows are naturally scared of horses. Horses have a thing over cows.
Yes.
In the whole hierarchy of how the farm animals, horses are on a high horse. They are over cows. So by default, Tex is already going to make way for horses. But then he's not that scared of Voodoo. He's not terrified of Dixie. But when Bucky's walks over there looking all goofy, and Bucky's walks like this. Whenever Bucky comes up to you, he can't see out of his eye. So his head is always turned sideways. So am I making this up? So when Bucky's walks up to you, he's always giving you that weird, strange eye, and that one eye's always bugged up anyway, or bug-eyed. And Tex is terrified of Bucky's. So I told Jami, what if we put Bucky's on a lead? What if we put a halter and we put a lead on Bucky's? Bucky's is a great lead horse. He leads great. And then on our own, we take Bucky's on the lead and we walk Bucky's. Okay, we just walk Bucky's up along Tex. And that would send Tex into such a panic that he would pretty much go wherever Bucky's makes him go. And so if we could build us some kind of a small chute and we have a trailer backed up to it without having a bunch of weekend cowboys, yippee, yay, whatever they're going to do, making a rodeo out there in our pastures, we just simply put a lead on Bucky's and we start following Tex around, and Tex is going to just run. He's going to run for protection and cover. And if we can get up in that chute and then we walk Bucky's into that chute, you know what a chute is? A loading chute. If you don't know, a loading chute starts off. It's usually welded steel, But in our case, we can make a simple wooden chute that's going to funnel text into the back of the trailer. There'll be a ramp that comes down. And so if we could ever get text into a spot where we could start that funneling, if we walk with Bucky's and Bucky's just is going to follow us right into it. I hope I look kind of crazy because I'm trying to look crazy. I believe Tex is going to be so terrified, he might go right inside that trailer and we just close the door.
Do you want to remember that game we played when you said Carl's name like 5,000 times?
What did I just do?
You said if like 5,000 times.
It is. It's
a lot of if.
It's an if or then type of scenario. If this will work,
there's a lot of variables.
That could save us. Now, we still don't have the trailer.
No, we're not there yet.
We still don't have the truck that's going to pull Tex. So we're going to have to either rent or borrow or hire somebody who has those types of capabilities. And don't forget, we as a forever home, we never built loading chutes. We only have to unload animals and they don't go anywhere. Our vets come here. So that is my biggest worry.
It's going to be interesting, that's for sure. I see a lot of people saying, can you tranquilize Tex? No, because then we need a crane to lift him.
Yeah, how would you lift him? If you tranquilize him and he lays down on you, you're never going to move an 1,800-pound bull.
And you don't want him to be out of it while you're transporting because he'll get hurt. So that's the other part, is he needs to be fully conscious and be able to stand while we move him and to be able to handle curves and turns, and it's going to be a process.
Yeah, well, they move cows all the time.
Yes.
So anyone that lives in a state where they rodeo, I'm sure you've seen the cows. People can move cows, y'all. Yes. That's not a problem.
It's a very normal thing to do it.
We have just never moved any cows. Yeah. And so you guys keep Tex in your prayers. Don't worry about Santana or Gracie or Pearl. We'll make that happen, and we will take care of our cows the best that we can. But Tex is the one that I worry about. Now, Jami wants to talk about Carl and his eggs.
Yeah, because we're going to take a pause from Longhorn Lester's right now. And we're going to talk about what 1 million people have emailed and messaged and are even commenting about right now. What are y'all going to do with all of Carl and Debbie's eggs?
There's 10 eggs right now. As of this morning, there were 10 eggs.
Which means that's a reduction from what there was last week.
There were 12. There were 12 last week. Well, I mean, I think that you would know more than I would, but I just gave you my theory is that they can tell when an egg is not developing along. And I believe that the reason they will sometimes on their own pop an egg open and eat the contents is because the egg is not developing right, maybe, and for whatever reason, I don't know. But there are 10 eggs that they're laying on. Sorry, I can't get Tex out of my mind. Carl lays on the eggs all night, and then Debbie lays on them by day.
They do. They take shifts.
And so Jami is like very concerned. Like, what if we walk out there one day and there are
baby ostriches? Because, okay, full disclosure, when we asked all of these questions up front before we got the females, all we were told was it'll never happen in your humidity and the variables of weather that Houston has. So no matter what that the ostriches do to try to control it, it's not going to happen here. And I got to say, they sure think it will, because they aren't giving up.
Well, here's the thing. We've seen geese hatch babies. We've seen ducks hatch babies. We've seen chickens hatch babies. So why would anyone tell us, oh, they're not going to be able to hatch down there where you guys are at? Because everything else can hatch here.
Sure can.
Turtles can hatch. Snakes can hatch. I kind of think that the mom can control a lot of that through things. I don't know.
Well, I would say that except for there are several of my hens who have been broody. If you remember, Goldie was broody 2 separate times for and 70 days each that they never hatched.
Oh, well.
So I know it can happen, but these two sure are committed to it and don't sway from it. Now, the destruction of the 2 eggs in the last couple of days is something new, which means that they did know that, hey, these are not going to make it. Chickens typically will just either push those out of the nest, but I've also seen them eat it too. Some people will say that's a deficiency and things like that, but I don't think that's the case with ostriches, at least not not this case, because I know what they're eating. I don't see them out there like starving or anything like that. I think that they're destroying them so that that they don't kick them out and predators don't get them, because they're just, I don't know, super protective. It's very, very intriguing to watch.
Hey, while you're on that subject about broody, could I ask a question? Because I just now saw it pop up. Someone said that Carl looks thin. And that's funny because I've made a video that I have not posted yet that I said, Carl looks thin to me. And so I'm going to ask you, and that means asking all of you as well. If Carl is in fact sitting on those eggs,
He'll get thin.
Like the ladies, like the, whenever Jami's chickens or ducks or geese are broody and they lay on those eggs for so long and they only get up just to survive.
Yes.
They get up long enough to eat and drink and they come right back. And they get super frail. If you were to pick up a chicken who's laid on eggs for a while, they feel like they're just skin and bones.
Yes.
They feel like skin and bones.
So the stress of being broody and what their hormones make them do is not be hungry and really only eat for survival. So I know what they're getting because I know what we put into their bowls, obviously. And we know that they're eating, but we also know that they reduce their caloric intake significantly during this time because they're not they're not out and about hunting and gathering and doing all the things. They're broody. They're sitting down and they're only eating just enough to survive. So they do get thin during this period.
The only real, I would call the only expert that we've ever spoken to with the ostriches actually walked us around and showed us a healthy ostrich and an unhealthy ostrich. And the way you can tell is from their backsides. I know this sounds kind of embarrassing. It's going to sound really weird, but a nice round bottom.
What Lester's trying to say is I'm really healthy.
I knew that was not going to sound right. Listen, a nice round bottom on an ostrich, when you get behind an ostrich.
Wow.
Please help me here. You know what I'm talking about.
The backside of an ostrich, when it looks round versus flat or sunken in, means that is a very healthy ostrich.
So when we got all three of our babies, they all three were not as healthy as they needed to be. Correct. Because getting behind them in the trailer and filling them to see what kind of ostriches they were. And Jami and I both agreed that they were not the most healthy of ostriches.
I'm laughing because there's so many people who are saying me too, Jami.
Hey, most of us guys have no problem with a nice round bottom.
Just own it, ladies.
Just own it, y'all. Just own it. Seriously. But what I'm trying to say is right now, I have not gotten behind Carl, but that little guy has a little sunken in bottom.
Yeah.
And so it makes me feel sad that he loves those eggs so much that he's doing whatever a mom would do in sitting there and just trying to guard them and protect them all night. And he's losing weight in the process.
But that's nature.
I know it. But if
you're just not used to seeing the guy in that role. Is that what you're saying?
No. Here's what I was going for. The fact that they may never hatch is what breaks my heart.
Yes.
To know that a mom, or in this case, even a dad, an ostrich, a male ostrich who takes or at least tries to help the mom in that role, you give everything you got when you come. I mean, I don't know if you've ever gone to bed hungry, but we all know how it feels to be hungry. And I don't guess Carl's hungry, but whatever happens in their body to make them lose so much weight, it has to be a nagging pain, I would think. But we've seen the geese and the ducks and the chickens and how frail and fragile they look when they're broody.
Yeah.
And now seeing Carl out there like he's just. Can I tell a funny story?
Oh God.
So I'm going to tell this story, and this is true, and I captured it on video this morning. So you give me a couple of days and you'll see this video. So this morning we were going to Longhorn Lester's. And we were going to leave early. We have both the boys here and they sleep till noon. So I told Jami, if we get over there early, we can be back by the time they wake up and have a normal lunch and everything and have some normal time with the family. And so we got up early and I went down to do my morning feed up. And it was so early that Carl was still on daddy duty. He was still sitting on the eggs. And so I rolled over there to the fence and I talked to him for a minute. And I'm videoing Carl sitting on the eggs, and he's looking at me and looking around and looking down, counting the babies. He constantly sets up and he looks at them and sets back down. You ready for the funny part? So I had already fed Wanda, Debbie, and Tina up by the little's pasture. Debbie had come up and she was eating. She'd already,
She was off shift.
Yeah, it wasn't her shift. Carl's on night shift. I don't know what time they officially make that change, but listen to this. While I'm sitting there videoing and talking to Carl, Debbie, the mama, the baby mama, she walks over and Carl stands up and he kind of ruffles his feathers, which is like his morning stretch. This is the funny part. You ready for this?
I'm so nervous. I have no idea what you're going to say.
Carl takes a couple of steps away. Debbie walks over and she literally inspects all of the eggs to make sure Carl hadn't done anything stupid like dads can do and foolish and crack or break or eat or whatever. And then at some point, listen to me, the video is going to come out and there's no way you can make this stuff up. Your rooster crows, Nate, the little one. And at that point, Carl, he took off running.
Like his shift was over, he could finally.
Carl, he opened his wings and off he goes. And he ran as fast as he could, straight up to the fence. I got it all on video. I look over and Debbie is like, okay. And she's sitting down for her shift and she's sitting down. Carl hauls butt up to the fence line. I thought he was hungry. I'm like, he's going to go over there and try to eat. Nope. He ran up to that fence line, put the brakes on, and sticks his chest out and starts walking around trying to show off in front of Tina and Wanda, who were over there eating. Yeah. So if that was not funny.
A lot of people are asking, didn't you all get them from an ostrich farm? If they could be hatched there, how come they couldn't be hatched here? The ostrich farm incubates them.
Well, and also that was way up north. I don't know. I would think that Texas shares a lot of humidity, but I don't think that many people get the same off the Gulf that we do here in the Houston area. So we got them way up north in the Dallas, Fort Worth area. And I don't know if you guys know the value of an ostrich, but an egg sells for $30. A baby ostrich, like a chick, they call them a chick. Mm-hmm. So a chick sells for $300. And of course, a grown healthy ostrich sells for a lot. We are not going to sell anything. We are, I'm a Survivor Sanctuary as a nonprofit, and we did not get into ostriches to make any money. We would never do that.
No.
But we also don't want to have a bunch of baby ostriches running around. So I told Jami that I know what to do with 4 of them. If they do somehow, in fact, hatch, I know what we can do with 4 of them. It's going to require a road trip. So we're going to load these babies up while they're still young enough to be put into a crate. We're going to put them in a big crate. Now, you won't know if they're males or females until they're about 2 or 3 years old. So at this point, we're not going to know what's what. We're going to put 4 into a crate, and we're going to make us a road trip. And I bet you guys know where we're going to go. We're going to head up north, and we're going to swing through Dallas, and we're going to drop one off with Rick. Think like a horse. We're not going to warn him.
That's not right.
We're going to do this. We're going to swing by Rick's place, and I'm going to unload one of the ostriches. I hope to God it's a male. Because this will give Rick a chance to practice what he preaches. If that was my ostrich, I would do this. If that was my ostrich, he would never do this to me. And so, I would love to see Rick raising an ostrich. And by God, I hope it's a male. That would be amazing. Then we're going to swing by the urban ranch in Waco, and we're going to hand one off to Uncle Ben. We don't talk enough about Uncle Ben, but I love his channel. It's fast paced. His channel is very fast paced, And I feel like you would probably enjoy it if you were smoking something you shouldn't be smoking, or snorting stuff.
Oh
I
my
don't know.
gosh.
Seriously, I don't know how fast paced people can watch. I do know why he does it. I know why Ben creates videos the way he creates, because it's for a younger generation who need that fast stimulation. But Ben, I would drop off one to Uncle Ben, and he could raise it with his Rhea. That would be hilarious, because he takes a beat down from his little male Rhea.
Yeah.
And I don't think he knows what a real beat down feels until he's been chest bumped by Carl. But I would give one to Uncle Ben. I think that would be great for his little sanctuary. And I think he would enjoy the relationship that and the sweet and kindness that an ostrich offers until it gets old enough to start being mean to you. You know where we're going next. Y'all know where we're going next. Y'all know where we're going next. So we've stopped at Dallas. We hit Waco. We're going to keep on going a little bit further north, and we're going to swing by the Arms family. We're going to swing through Oklahoma, and we're going to stop at the Arms family, and we're going to drop off one to them. We're going to gift it to Houston, and Houston would love it, and he would make it his own. And so Houston would have himself a little ostrich to raise. And if it belongs to Houston, Daniel can't do anything with it. Daniel can't even have any of his little bright ideas, because Daniel's going to have to just back off. You know, Houston runs that show. You do know Houston runs that show. And Houston will have himself an ostrich. We're going to hope that one will be a little female, because, y'all, they are sweet. And I think that would, DJ would have a chance to bond with that thing. And I know Houston and Emily and Weston would. And that would be hilarious. And then last but not least, we're going to swing by. We're going to have to take a sharp turn to the right, which is heading towards the east. And we will have to swing by Cog Hill. We're going to go through Alabama, drop off one to Jason and Brooke. And can you imagine Mary Carl with all of her her knowledge of birds having her very own ostrich? We would hope it would be a female.
Boy, you got all kinds of plans.
Well, that's going to be 4 of them. Now, the problem is, what do we do with the other 6? So then I told Jami, I says, this is going to be horrible, and people are not going to like us. But we go to the woods and let them go. Go down and feed them every day, and just watch and see what happens.
Oh my God.
If they end up populating. And so here you have the savannah in Africa, all the plains and the savannas with all of these wild ostriches. Then you have there in Australia, in the outback, you have all these ostriches that run around. And guess what? You want to see more wild ostriches? You go to Plum Grove. You go to Plum Grove. That would be funny. No, I'm kidding. We would take, I'm guessing, the rest to Longhorn Lester's, and we would have to eventually build a place for them. But we're going to have to, at some point, think about that. And with the eggs,
we're just gonna see what happens, honestly. Like, we have no idea. And people are like, why can't you handle them? Well, A, you can't touch them unless you want to die. And B, I don't know how bright of a light you would have to see it. And it would probably be past the point where you could see much at all. Even in chicken eggs, there gets to be a point where you can't, it just looks like black, basically, like a glob of shadow. So wait and see. That's where we're at.
Yeah, that will be neat. That will be neat.
Yeah.
So we have the Longhorn Lester update. We have the Tex, Santana.
Strategizing.
How we're going to strategize that. Someone says, give him the pawpaw so he can sell them. We're not going to do that, y'all. We're not going to raise and sell animals here.
No.
That's fine. I don't have anything against people that raise and sell animals. But that's just not what we're going to do with our animals. We're not going to rescue an animal like we did for Carl and for Wanda, and then end up breeding them and raising animals to sell. Or that's just not what we do, because that looks bad on us. That doesn't make us look right.
We're not in the business of any of that. We want to provide forever homes for animals, and that's our intention.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with this, and who knows? Hopefully all of the other ostrich experts are correct, and that we can.
They'll never hatch.
Yeah. Hey, Hank.
So if that's the case, then how long will they continue to sit on them? At some point, they have to realize they're not going to hatch.
Well, like I said, Goldie sat on her eggs for like 3 times the length both times. And she just kept waiting.
So that makes me think that we should go out there and take the eggs away from them.
I want to go back to the video of when they first moved over there, and then I want to count the timeline, do a little research, and then figure out where we stand, and then we can make a decision. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm not going to do anything without your approval and without you doing your research. So, no, Moo will not. I'm just reading a couple of comments here. We're about to wrap up, right?
Yes, we have to bring Lex home.
Yeah, Lex has to go home, and his mom lives about an hour from here. So that means I got to give him some time to spend with his dad and unwind and stuff. We don't like to rush him out the door. And that's an hour drive at that. So I will get off pretty soon. But I did read a comment, and it's about Moo. Guys, Moo is not leaving the sanctuary. So don't worry about that. And there's a couple of reasons. Now, Moo's not a rescue. So y'all have to stop. I know Jami and I have talked about this a number of times. What is a rescue compared to what is a surrender? So I think there is a difference. And I only say that because other sanctuaries that I follow have talked about, so this was a surrender, and they talk about how they acquired an animal that came to their forever home. But not all animals on a sanctuary were rescued. So in my mind, I don't know by definition, and I'm sure.
I looked it up while we were driving.
No, you did not. You're lying.
Most sanctuaries and rescues define a rescue as an animal who will lose its life if it does not come to the sanctuary.
Okay, so there we go. So that's perfect. So then a surrendered animal is one that the owner just could no longer, for whatever reason. They either live in the city, they don't have pasture large enough, the animal has a bad habit, or maybe it's ill, they can't afford to take care of it, they can't afford to feed it. That happens sometimes. And so instead of someone loving their animal to death, which unfortunately happens a lot, they surrender their animal. They say, hey, I'm a survivor. I have, in this case, I have Moo. And he was an FFA project, and my daughter couldn't stand to. Hank is backing himself right onto my computer.
Just wants a little love.
I don't want him to mess up my computer. Jami,
oh my gosh, Lester.
That's what happens when Tank starts backing up. Guys, hold on. Okay, I'm using both hands, baby. I need help. I'm coming. All right, I'm giving Jami the phone. I hope we didn't lose our connection.
No, we didn't. But
Jami thought it was so cute what Hank was doing, but I saw disaster about to strike.
Hank, oh boy, you're looking directly out of my chest there. Sorry about that.
I saw disaster about to strike, and sure, if I wasn't right.
Sorry, Facebook.
And Hank is still going. Hank is still going.
Okay. I still don't have it right. I'm so sorry.
Hank's still going. Hank, your tail's fine, but not your behind.
Buddy, maybe your booty can move a little bit. Okay, we're back. A little bit.
Talk about stress. So Moo was surrendered to the sanctuary for a forever home.
Yeah.
And so.
And several of our animals were. So, we did not get into this to be a rescue, though.
No, rescues just kind of happened. Did it happen first with Ivy?
Yes.
Was Ivy our first official? Mm-hmm. It was a phone call from the police department, the Liberty County Sheriff's Department, that said, hey, you guys are a forever home, blah, 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 or you guys are an animal farm, whatever they said. I forgot how they said it. But they had a situation, and we went there and helped them out of the situation, and ended up to where the older lady just asked, could we? And so that was our first, I would say, quote unquote, rescue, because it required her life was in danger. And if we had not helped her, she would have died.
And most rescues rehome those animals. So we're Lester and Jami, and I'm a survivor. That's who we are. We're not,
we're just Lester and Jami, y'all.
We don't have like these strict rules and things as far as like this is what we do with every single animal. That's not it.
But no, Moo's staying here. Moo has a great home here. And I don't know if y'all realize this, but Moo doesn't have a companion when it comes to the Longhorns.
Mm-mm.
They don't hang out with Moo, and Moo doesn't hang out with them. Now, you may catch Moo eating alongside them, and you may catch Moo usually around dinner time where they all kind of come together.
Moo's companion is Jake.
But yeah, Moo, he sees any of us and he's going to go to the human. And I think there'll be a lot more human interaction here at I'm a Survivor than what there will be at Longhorn Lester's. Now, don't worry, I'm going there every day and I will spend several hours a day there. But Moo's going to stay here. Moo is happy here. He's content. And so it's easy to try to humanize animals. I do it all the time, trust me. But in reality, Moo's not going to freak out when he looks around and there's no Tex, Santana,
no, he'll
Gracie,
be really
and Pearl.
excited that he gets to have all the food to himself.
Moo will actually be, he will be fine. Now, you know who is going to freak out whenever if we do end up moving Santana, Pearl, and Gracie, Tex is going to freak out. And so I worry about the time lapse between getting the females moved and having them adjust and set up a home before we move Tex. So I don't know. There's a lot of questions, y'all. But to answer that one particular question, Moo will stay right here. Moo will stay right here on the sanctuary. He's going to have a forever home here. And he'll have Jake, and he'll have all of us. But let me go ahead and just extend this a little bit further, because you talk about questions that come up in the email all the time. A lot of people in the comments and the emails continually talk about, I'm going to miss not seeing Tex and those Longhorns. Guys,
you're still going to see it.
Let me remind you that I make my living doing this. I've made this to be of course I drive my bus to pay my bills, but I've made my living as a video creator. I've focused myself on this. And so there's going to be plenty of videos from both locations. There's not going to be a day goes by that I'm not going to have my camera out when I'm doing with the animals here or when I do with the animals over there. So never worry about not seeing an animal in a video, because there's going to be plenty of videos.
I think that you will actually find that you see a much more, I don't want to say variety or routine. I don't know how to say that, but you will see a very big mix, because of the time there gets to have the true focus on the Longhorns, and the time here gets to focus on all of this. And sometimes I find even that all of a sudden I've spent all my time in the littles pasture for the last week, because those were my chores for the week. Those are the things that I took care of that week. So all my videos are from that vantage point. I think that because we'll be in both places every single day, that you're going to see quite the variety of what's going on there, because we have focused time.
Yeah. Now, and so I'm not going to say that every video will feature every animal, but we don't do that now.
No.
Some days our focus might be this or that, or, depending on whose video you're watching, there's normally a focus. And it's very rare that you see every animal in every video.
Very rare.
What you will miss, here's what you're going to miss.
The
to an
Tex and
extent,
Billy saga.
The Tex and Billy saga.
Yeah.
What you're never going to see again is Tex walking around separated from his family, staring over a fence at another bull with a lot of his whole family gathered around, with his many, many, many ladies, his harem, if you will. Tex, that is what we will all miss. Those videos.
Yeah, but it's a selfish miss. So think about that. As much as it is an entertainment piece, it's awful and gut-wrenching to really watch. Seriously, it is sad and heartbreaking, and it is somewhat unbelievable to think that a bull could.
Jami, we got 9,000 people watching us right now. We've never had 9,000 people watching us at one time.
There must be nothing else going on.
What's going on in the world? There must be nothing on TV. There's no sports.
Yeah, everybody wants to hear about,
I'm going to suck my gut in and stick my chest out and look real handsome. My eyes. I can't fix my eyes.
I think you should
fix my eyes. Jami, fix my eyes. What did we do, Jami?
I think it was whenever Hank knocked over the camera that got it all rustled up, maybe.
We ain't had 9,000 folks watch us in a long time. So here's what's going to happen, though. You want to know what's going to happen with Tex? He's going to calm down and begin. After 4 years, he's going to finally start living his best life. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you what's going to happen. You ready for this one? I can't wait for this one. What's going to happen when all of a sudden female number one shows up?
No.
And then female
Santana is
no.
Wife number one.
Santana is the wife. Santana is his wife. His main squeeze.
You're talking about his second wife.
Yes. Can we call him second wife and third wife?
Santana's the first wife.
So what's going to happen is the drama is no longer going to be with Tex. He's going to be just living his best life, sitting back, watching all this happen, y'all. I don't mean to laugh because you women are going to hate this part. You women are going to hate this, but you women already know. You know what's going to happen when Santana sees that trailer roll up and some cute little female hop out of it.
Oh, she's going to.
Tex is going to go, oh, God. And he's going to be like super excited. And Santana is going to be like, the hell is this? And all of a sudden, that same drama that we saw with Tex, is this going to turn over to be some girl fights? And that it ain't going to stop there. And I'm sorry to laugh.
So, but I'm going to say maybe, because it might be at that point in time where she's sick of him too, because all of a sudden, all of his focus is right here.
No. A woman will never be accepting of the, no. There's no woman in this world who's going to say, oh, I'd be very accepting of my man having some other females. Come, by all means, come on in. No, I don't care what state you're from or what city you live in. I don't care what religion you practice or anything else. A woman can pretend that that's her custom, and that's fine. No. A human female is not going to be okay with this, or an animal female is not going to be okay with this.
I feel like the Santana is going to rally up her girls, and that poor new cow is going to be like put in the corner, and we're going to be talking about nobody puts baby in the corner. And let me tell you what, Santana's going to put her right in the corner. That's how it's going to go.
I know. I am so excited, and I'm so heartbroken for what's going to happen when Santana has to realize that there's I don't think more than 2 more girls, because we have to be careful. Now, even though we have 20 acres, we only have 10 acres that's open for pasture grazing. And now about an acre has been taken over by a pond. And so we have to always be conscious. That's a great word. That the rule of thumb is an acre per cow, y'all. That's just a rule of thumb. To have a healthy cow, you need about an acre per cow. So I built the barn stalls for 8. So I would like to have 8. That gives us some leeway, right? That gives us a little bit of leeway. And if any horses go over, if we acquire a horse, they can play on both pastures, because we have the other side that is semi-cleared, and they can kind of be our cleanup crew as far as come by and cleaning up a few things. But the cows, so what's going to be sad, and what a lot of folks are not going to be able to understand, if it's not going to be hard enough seeing Santana and going through the girl drama, that's going to be the entertainment. What's going to happen from Longhorn Lester's. It's not going to be Tex. Oh, Tex will be plenty entertained that I won't be able to video. I can't video that entertainment. But, I will, but I just can't play it on all platforms. But it'll be Santana and her drama that's going to be. And Santana, if y'all don't know this, she's not going to be a pushover. She is not going to be a pushover.
Santana will take no crap. None whatsoever. And I hope that the female that we pick, I hope that she can hold her own, or at least become submissive and understands what her role will be, because Lord have mercy, it's going to be something.
Yeah, it's going to be something. So there'll be a lot of drama for a long time to come. But what I was going to say is that the hard part is to realize, now I will never get rid of Tex. Okay, so once Tex finally gets to that age where he's tired and he just wants to relax and live out his life, then that's when Lester calls the end of raising any kind of cows, Longhorns, over at Longhorn Lester's. They will live out their life there. I will never get rid of Santana. I will never get rid of Pearl or Gracie. And but then you have to think about something. what do we do whenever Tex has fertilized enough ladies? Can I say it that way? Is that okay?
Okay.
To where now you have more cows than what we have land for. I don't want to grow and expand and continue to grow. Guys, I'm at a point in my life where I'm already ready to kind of slowly just ride out my life, making videos for you guys and just taking care of a few animals here and there. So we're not going to grow and expand and have a herd, massive herd. So then what's going to be hard though is when we have future babies. We have future babies. And so I have to remember that we're not going to let Tex breed his bloodline as far as his granddaughters or his daughters. So the hard part will be you guys having to see a baby born to Pearl or a baby being born to Gracie. I'm going to cry. I feel like I want to cry. It will be hard to see a baby born to Pearl who can't stay, or a baby born to Gracie who can't stay. And so that will be the hard part for all of us, because once you've made these babies a part of your life, and you know, when you make a video about them and you show their qualities and their characteristics and their character traits, then all of a sudden they become a part of your day.
Well, maybe by that time. This is my maybe. I haven't even said this
Oh,
to you.
Lord, this
Maybe.
is something you've never said before. I'm about to
Yeah.
hear it for the first time.
Maybe by
What?
then, I don't know, we can buy more land.
No, because we don't want to keep growing.
I know, but
We
okay,
don't
then
want to keep
maybe
growing.
we just put the boys in the pasture next door and the
Wait, then we're going to separate Tex from his girls.
listen, we were not prepared to talk about this on here, and there's a lot of thinking out loud. That's all I'll say. Well, that's a long way away.
Here's what I will say. Here's what I will say about any of those babies that are ever born. We will never auction off a cow. We will never go by and drop off a Longhorn, especially one of the pure breed that they're going to be, because if I haven't already bragged about this enough in past videos, Tex comes from Schumacher Farms cattle ranch. Tex has a superior bloodline. It is.
People do call us often asking, could they utilize Tex's services?
Yeah, Tex has. If we. I don't even want to get into that because our live is already.
Oh my gosh, we were going to be late to bring Lex home. We were supposed to stop talking 20 minutes ago already.
I know. So we're not going to get into that. But what I will say is that don't worry. Any calf, bull, or heifer that Tex sires from Santana will have an amazing home, because it will be a bull, especially a bull. If he can sire a bull, my God, y'all. Now, that will be something neat to see, how many people reach out and want to try to acquire that bull from us. Heifers, I would like to keep. But that requires band camp. That requires lots of band camping, or someone with the know-how to do artificial insemination. But that requires it's too much. It's too deep.
Look what you've done. It just keeps going.
I've created this horrible web in my head. Now this is what's happening inside of my head. All these little things are connecting, and these little connectors. And normally, a lot of those connectors in my head they've broken off. I don't get a lot of connections anymore. And now I have all this crazy things. Cogs are turning, and
so people are freaking out on Facebook because when we move the camera, they can see my head in the back of the mirror, and they're like, "Who's sitting next to Lester? Who's sitting next to Lester?"
That's a mirror, guys.
That's a mirror. So So everybody's been asking for the last 20 minutes. They're like, "Who's sitting there? Whose head is that?" It's me. It's totally me. See, look on YouTube.
Oh, you can see it on YouTube. Yeah. There you go.
And on Facebook,
it's a mirror.
It's totally a mirror.
There's no one here. We don't have a film crew.
They're like arguing back and forth, like, no, you can see the light. Where's that light? Where are they at? It's another room. It's a super secret room here, and we just opened up. I'm kidding. We really have to go. Yeah. I'm sorry.
All right, it's okay. Well, I just want to say thank you all for watching. And there's a lot of questions coming through about things that I started that I'm sorry we don't have time to answer right now. But I promise you there will be folks in the comments that probably know from all of these questions are on videos. There's nothing about CJ or Pearl or anything that's not, there's the videos out there. And so you can go to any of the channels, YouTube or Facebook. And if you will go to our page and type in Pearl or type in CJ or type in whatever, guys, it'll pull up videos about those particular animals. So you don't have to sit here and ask and go crazy in the comments, because you can go find the video for yourself. And we've answered all of those questions. So I'm sorry the questions are coming in, but we have to sign out. So this is Longhorn Lester, aka Lester. How boring is that?
And I'm just Jami.
And just Jami. And we're saying thank y'all for putting up with us, and for, you know, all of the flaws, and just allowing us to run this ragtag operation and still showing so much love and support. We're blessed to have you. We're blessed that you let us come into your lives and give us a platform to share who we are and share the crazy things, you know. And not many folks have that opportunity to share who they are with so many folks, and we're blessed. And you still accept us. Today there was 9,000 folks that came here either to show us some love and acceptance, or to get on our ass about something they saw on a video. And I haven't read enough comments to know what you're here for, but I will. As we drive, Jami will read comments to me, and I love that. So thank you, everybody. Jami, go ahead and say your piece, and
Y'all have a great Sunday. Stay well, stay safe, and I'll see you on Tuesday afternoon.
That's right. A lot of videos coming up this week, guys. Y'all stay tuned.
Thanks for loving us.
Thank you.